Most of us human beings at our core wish to be carried by the stillness and the essence of things and to let it guide us toward true harmony. Yet we are very good as human beings at getting caught up in how to do this. Where do I find this elusive stillness and essence? A few weeks ago, I was reading a book about parenting toddlers in which the authors told a story, a fable really, that pointed towards this familiar dilemma. It began, imagine a faraway land where you face situations with satisfactory solutions free from self-doubt and second thoughts. I was hooked, right? This is the land of good reason. In this place, beautiful ideas dangle ripe and the southern breeze wafts gently. Here dwell the people called the rationals. In this land, a mother tucks her child in for an afternoon nap, settles into a lounger and enjoys the breeze, humming a melody that she learned as a child, with the words, "Believe in your beliefs. Trust that your goals are true. Then you'll know why you try what you try. The truth behind effort serves you." And as she sang, a beautiful green parrot swooped down and landed on the arm of her lounger. Still reflecting on this song that was so deeply embedded in her life, she mused, "Tell me, parrot, about my beliefs." Beliefs. Beliefs with goals equal why. Add how, and you come to solve your problems, the parrot rattled. The rational mother could all of a sudden picture the formula in her mind. Beliefs plus goals equal why, plus how equals the solution, and this set her at ease. But not far from the rationals was the village of the how-tos. They had their methods, but they knew little of why. Once, these lovely people shared a common ancestry with the rationals, but suddenly struck by a devastating storm of need, the how-tos became isolated from the land of good reason. Lost forever in the storm of need, the wisdom of old became buried in the sludge of doubt and fear. The storm washed in new seeds of old habits, and soon a forest of habits grew so thick and dense that seldom did the how-tos see the light of day, and seldom did they dare venture beyond their little clustered village. They didn't think much for themselves. They let a council of wise owls think for them. One day, sitting on her front stoop, a weary how-to mother pondered deeply. She thought, my grandmother used to sing a song of the rationals, and within the lyrics is this formula that can free me from the forest of habit. But how did that song go? Dream of how to find a solution? Or was it believe in your habits? No, it was dream about your habits. No, I must figure out what this song said. Tonight I will summon the council of wise owls. And so that night she did, and the owls swooped in by the hundreds. One very dignified elder owl replied to her plea, "I knew the ways of the rationals. Their village is actually very close. Before the flood of need, I lived in their trees." The other owls all erupted into a clamor of disbelieving hoots, but he quieted them. And then he began swaying and singing the song of the rationals. Believe in your beliefs. Trust that your goals are true. Then you'll know why you try what you try. The truth behind effort serves you. That's it, the how-to mother exclaimed. That's the formula. Here in the land of how-to, we only know of how, but not why. And why comes from the union of our beliefs and goals. So from that day forward, the how-tos, one to another, repeated the song again and again, and it caused the old habits to die off. The light of day grew brighter as the canopy of habit pushed back. And that's the end of the story. The story speaks of people stuck in the sludge of self-doubt and fear brought on by a storm of need. It also speaks of people being surrounded by the light of day shining down as self-doubt and fear of doing things wrong is pushed aside. I think we all know something of these feelings, and not just when it comes to parenting. Has anyone ever told you, this is the regimen that you need to follow to live a healthy life? This is what you must eat. You must structure your day this way. You must live in this way and do crossword puzzles and 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles every day in order to live a good and long life. Or maybe, in order to keep up with the Joneses, we decide to pursue this method of financial planning and budgeting and are convinced that there is this one particular method that will lead us to prosperity and allow us to buy the lifestyle that we seek. Living up to these expectations is overwhelming. Every day we make choices, and they're often clouded by fear of making the wrong choice. There is no definitive instruction manual on how to live a good and meaningful life. And there is no definitive instruction manual on how to be a good friend or spouse or parent. In the fable, the how-to parent claims to know a lot about parenting, to be implementing good and sound methods, and their mantra is just show me how. But they are weary and unsure of whether they're following the right parenting approach. They're reacting to the fear and doubt stirred by the storm of need, and the why underneath it all becomes lost. The rational parents, on the other hand, have some perspective. They know that the right approach depends on their beliefs and goals. This is the why that shapes what they do. Rather than reacting to the storm of need, they're more contemplative. They sing a song that helps them get toward a truth that is true for them. They ask questions like, what are the values that are important to me? What convictions do I hold? What goals do I have for my children and family, my marriage, parenting, employment, friendships, and spiritual life? Now think for a second about where you are in this scheme of things. How many of you here are more naturally inclined toward the rational why approach to life? Okay, bunch of hands. How many of you are more naturally inclined to go first to the how? Okay, a few of you. You know, in both services, that has been the case. And before this, I was sure that more people would raise their hands for the how. So I'm pleasantly surprised. But you know, I'll say, honestly, that the how is where I go to first. Luckily, there are forces in my life, including this vocation of ministry, that pull me out of it when I need some perspective, some helpful perspective. Now another story. Less fantasy, no talking birds, and a little more real life. How many of you for work have ever had to make copies of something? Okay, yes. Imagine that your supervisor sends you a memo asking you to make copies of the financial report for the board meeting after lunch. Your next step is probably to go to the copy machine. Or if someone else is in the middle of a big copy job and time is tight, you might take it to the nearest print shop. Why are you copying the report? Because there's a board meeting after lunch and you were asked to make copies for the meeting. But here's what happens. You go to copy it, a few pages come out, and then the red light starts flashing. So you open the trays, check for jams, remove the jam, and reset the machine. And again, hit start. And again, the red light starts flashing. And now you're really frustrated. So you open more panels of the machine and clear the rollers and check the toner and shake the paper and start over. And what happens? Another jam occurs. And so now you call your colleagues over to help and discuss calling the repair service, and now you are fully absorbed in the task of fixing the copy machine. But time is running short, and you've forgotten why you were there to make a copy in the first place, which was to make copies of the report for the board meeting. So you think, okay, is there another way you can accomplish this? Sure, you can go to the print shop, or perhaps since your supervisor emailed you the report, you could just print it from your computer. Of course. But you were stuck on a broken how, rather than considering other options for achieving your goal. When you remember why you're there at the copy machine in the first place, you can be more creative and find other good how options that might actually be better, more efficient than trying to fix the copy machine yourself. I think this, whether it's a copy machine or any number of other things in our lives, is A perfect example of not being able to see the forest for the trees. We can't see the big picture why when we're so laser focused on the details of how. But when we begin questioning and listening, we're able to step out of the trees and see the forest and its perspective. Friedrich Schleiermacher, one of the founders of liberal theology, of which Unitarianism is a part, wrote in 1799, "Religion is not knowledge and science, either of the world or of God. Without being knowledge, it recognizes knowledge and science. In itself, it is an affection, a revelation of the infinite in the finite, God being seen in it and it in God." Finding the infinite in the finite was not the strength of the how-tos or of that poor employee just trying to make some copies as instructed. Finding the infinite in the finite means looking at something finite, a human life, for example, and finding God, finding what matters and what grounds our being. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the all is in each particle. Our task as religious people is to find that all in each particle and the why in each life. Not the why of knowledge represented by answers to questions like, why is the sky blue, or why does my child refuse to eat the food that I give him, but the why of meaning, conviction, values, and goals. Why do I want my child to eat that food? Why do I want to live a long time? Why commit to eating healthier and having a regular spiritual practice? Why keep up with the Joneses? Why tell the truth? The primary source for this level of insight and perspective is within. The why lives within us. The poem that I shared earlier, Made from Bone by Mark Nepo, begins, "When I can be the truth, it grows more and more clear when it is necessary to tell the truth." And it ends, "We are reborn each time we touch what matters." When we're in touch with the why, in touch with what matters, and when we are the why, how and when to express it becomes clearer. Nepo speaks of having access to a place inside ourselves, a why that dwells at the core, that flows out of us without us even trying. This is a poem that I've come back to again and again in recent years because as I read it, I'm reminded of the meaning of living my convictions, and that what I want to express to the world flows through me when I remain connected to what matters. When we're in touch with the guide within us, our actions become clear and we don't have to worry as much about how or when to act or what choices to make. We embody what it is that guides us. As the Rationals song said, "The truth behind effort serves you." So if I want my child to grow up to be kind and generous because I believe that their life is inextricably woven into a fabric of mutuality, and I want them to recognize that their life is interwoven with all others, there is no one parenting method that embodies this conviction and satisfies this goal. And if you want to get healthier, physically and spiritually, because you believe that this is the foundation for doing good in the world, and that is a value for you, there is no one health regimen or diet or spiritual prescription that will fully satisfy this goal. We recognize the why, understand the how, and get closer to living it out when we listen to our hearts. Pause, as Reverend Dr. Tandeka reminded us during the spiritual deepening work that she led here a little over a week ago. You already know. You already have it, she kept reminding us. You just need to create space for feeling it and then understanding it. It doesn't come from a wise council of owls or from a singing parrot or from a minister up here on the chancel. It comes from within. This sanctuary that we worship in this morning was designed in the middle of the 20th century, a time with just as much unrest as we experience today, to be a clearing in the forest. A clearing in the forest of doubt and fear, a place where we set aside the habits of daily living so that we can attend to matters of the Spirit. We are, of course, influenced and shaped by the world around us, but we don't allow the habits that we've developed in order to deal with the storm of need to cloud our awareness. The openness of this space and of the minds and hearts that dwell within it allow us to get outside the expectations of our lives that create doubt and fear, because we know that here we are free to explore the why. I invite you to look up above you. And for the folks around the edge, you'll see this the most. But do you see the light of day, as gray as it may be today, shining into this clearing? This is a place for clarity, a space where we see beyond the canopy of habit and shed light on what matters. You matter. Your life matters, and what you do with that life matters. You have within you the why that with focused discernment can guide your parenting, family, marriage, work, friendships, and spiritual life. You have within your finite body infinite wisdom. Will you say amen with me? Amen. Amen. Amen.